So, this is the rainforest, and it is the wet season, and so there's been a lot of this going on. I'm inside my tambo right now. And there's a lot of rain. It figures though, I just slowed down a lot right before I turned it on. It was just gushing down. Still coming down pretty good though. But I've seen a lot of this so far. Today is the 5th day at the temple. Day 5, and it's rained every single day. There's been a couple of days that were mostly dry and sunny, but no matter what, it rains every day. And but it also seems to get sunny for at least a little while every single day, so that's pretty cool. And you can just see this stream in this path here. My zoom is slow motion right now, I don't know why. But one of these days here I'm gonna try to show the rest of the temple. I know I haven't shown it much yet. I guess, believe it or not, there seems to be sort of a lot of things to do every day that take up time besides the ceremonies. But today's day 5, and tonight, in a few hours, a little more, is our 3rd ceremony. And we also get plant remedies every day that we get to drink. That takes some time, and floral baths every day. And then we have meetings on occasion, and all the dinners and lunches and breakfasts. There's no dinner on ceremony days though. And we've got 3 ceremonies in a row. Today, tomorrow, and the next day. That's going to be very exhausting and challenging, I think. And I think everybody's a little worried about how that's going to go. We just had 2 in a row, and then a day off yesterday. And people were pretty worn out from 2. Now we're going to have 3 in a row. And the last ceremony was pretty crazy. It was like a purely physical experience for me. Like mentally and with my mind, I felt completely, pretty much normal, like completely in the room or in the maloka. I'll show you guys that later, what the maloka is. But here's me. Yeah. And the second ceremony though, a couple days ago, purely physical experience. I got, after about half hour, 40 minutes in, I got very nauseous, and I almost threw up a few times, and I have a huge phobia of puking, and I've had it my whole life. And every time I was about to, I would kind of cough and clench my throat and hold it in. And I've done this my whole life. I've hardly ever thrown up. In the last like 15 years, I've probably only thrown up a couple times. So it's something for me to get over, and I think this place is going to help me do it. But last night I couldn't do it, or 2 nights ago, and I just felt miserable. I started sweating, I had a fever. It was awful, extremely uncomfortable. And I soon realized it wasn't going to change unless I threw up, and I still just couldn't do it. I was noticing that I have, you know, fear of embarrassment too, even here, where throwing up is common. Many others were doing it, and it's acceptable and understandable, but I didn't want to do it. And then while sitting there in my discomfort, I just broke down. I mean, just a complete breakdown. And I just completely let loose. And I was crying as hard and loud as you can. And I mean, I'm in there with, let's see, there's 25 other people, and then all the shamans, the maestros and the maestros. And so that was some extreme vulnerability. I'm not sure if anyone has seen me cry in the last 15 years. It's certainly not like that. I probably haven't cried that hard in 15, maybe 20 years. I mean, I was like a little baby, and you know, I don't know, I didn't have like visions or flashbacks to memories or anything, or any specific things that it was tied to that I could realize, but I just completely broke down. And you know, I thought that this was going to happen to me before I came here. I really did. I feel like I've been close to having this happen recently, but I couldn't quite do it, and this just pushed me through over the top. And once I started, it just kept going, and I was just feeling it, and it felt actually so good to just feel. And I was doing so many different things. I mean, besides crying, I was laughing, just laughing so hard. Also was screaming. I mean, screaming and yelling. And I was making some evil noises, like there was demons coming out of me or something. I've had people tell me I sounded like a horse. Today, people joke that I had an exorcism, and that's kind of what it felt like. It was intense, and I was definitely a little worried about it because I mean, there's sort of some rules, I think, to the ceremony, and we signed an agreement and all these things about, you know, how to act during ceremony, and I was a little worried because there's, you know, everybody knew what I was doing, and it was very loud for everyone. But I was a little embarrassed too, and at the time I was almost worried that they could try to stop me from doing more ceremonies or make me leave at worst case scenario. But the next day, everybody was just extremely supportive, and it was amazing. It was so cool. Like, people like thanked me for it. They said it helped them, and that was so cool. And then we had a group meeting, a share circle. We went around the circle sharing our experience of the first two ceremonies, and I shared what I experienced, and I started crying again while I was talking. And I've never liked to talk to groups ever in my life, and we didn't have to. We could have just passed and not said anything, but I really wanted to, and I felt so safe to do so. I mean, everyone here is so non-judgmental. It's so safe here. So I was able to do that, and yeah, I got emotional again while talking, and I could see a lot of other people getting that way too because of my talk. And but again, after it, I had people just come and support me and thank me even, and they say it helped them, and that was great. So yeah, I just felt like doing this little video to show the rain and then kind of share my experience so far. The first ceremony was very different. It was like I was in another world. Like, I mean, when I opened my eyes, the first ceremony, I could still see that I was here and I was in the Maloka, but it's like I wasn't really Zach, like, and I could just so clearly notice that, like, my thoughts were not me. And I mean, I actually felt like I was crazy, and I got scared that I was going to be that way forever and I was going to be stuck that way, and that I was going to, like, lose all my family and friends because I wouldn't even know who I was anymore. So that was some pretty scary stuff. And I mean, with the medicine, it's, when you're resisting, it's intense. It is extremely difficult, and the only choice I had was to just accept it and find peace with that. And so I literally started telling myself, it's okay. I'm crazy. This is the new me, but it's okay. And then it became much more pleasant and gentle and comforting, and I could feel the mother ayahuasca comforting me and nurturing me and holding me, and it was peaceful the rest of the way. And yeah, it just, I laid down during that ceremony. Like, I was, both the ceremonies I've noticed, and probably all of them I will, I felt extremely heavy. Extremely heavy. So hard to move or do anything. It's so I was just laying down that first ceremony, and it was like I was one with we have like little mat bed sort of things, cushions. It was like I became part of it almost, and I was just so comfortable and just loving it. And I was even like kind of holding and caressing myself and just like loving myself, and yeah, it just felt very good after that initial beginning that was freaking me out. And in that beginning, that freak out moment, I kind of had some negative thoughts, and then it was like snap, like instant, like I had pounding red lights, and I could just feel my heart racing the fastest I've ever felt, and I could feel intense fear in my body like I've never had in my life. And I was freaking out until I was able to calm down and not resist and relax. It really showed me the power of your thoughts and of non-resistance, because as soon as I switched to accepting this, it became so much easier. So that was my first ceremony, quite a bit different, like I said, but yeah, that's my experience so far. Pretty soon, the next couple days, I'm going to try to take pictures and record the rest of the temple. So, see you guys. Peace.